Welcome back, everybody. Max here with Cattle Hunting, and today we're gonna do another little nice junk silver review. Got this beautiful bag of junk silver over the weekend. I'm sorry that I couldn't make a video this weekend and I'm one day later than usual, but the weekend was super busy. Tried to get it out as fast as possible. I went to my usual scrap metal dealers this weekend, and actually one of them is heading to the East Coast for a couple of months where he buys most of his coins and other stuff that he buys and sells. So he's now going to be out of town for a couple of months, and he told me that before he leaves he usually cashes out all his stuff and brings it to the refinery. And he said I can have any coins in his silver coin pile for a scrap metal value, just spot price. So I couldn't resist and spent a little bit more than I usually would spend. But there were some really awesome collectible pieces in there that I wouldn't miss out on for a spot price. So I was super thrilled to do it. We got an amazing mix of coins here. We have a bunch of Canadian dollars. We have some US junk silver. We have some older Canadian sterling coins. We have, what else do we have? A few really nice pieces from all over the place. So I'm very happy to show you guys in a second. I paid a total of 460 Canadian dollars for this bag, which exactly equals spot. So I'm super thrilled to show you guys the coins, and I will sort them out nicely now for you, and then I will be back and talk about them in a little bit more detail. Alright, everything is nicely sorted out, and what a beautiful haul of silver coins. I'm so happy with my purchase this week. Before I talk about the coins, I want to talk a little bit about the silver market, what was happening the last recent weeks again. So we're basically stagnating around this $25 mark, but there's a lot of demand for investment silver. If you look at threads like Wall Street Silver or something like something similar to that on Reddit or other sources like this, you could get the feeling that silver is just about to go through the roof, and that's actually what I just wanted to talk about for a little bit, because I believe that a lot of the stuff that's been written in those kind of threads is just flat out conspiracy theory in my perspective. I think all of it has a little bit of truth to it, but they're taking it to a level where I just think it is absolute nonsense, and I personally do not believe in it at all. I actually think that at the moment there's actually a lot of things speaking against silver going up in the short term, and it's actually more likely for it to be going down. We still have the Fed basically supporting the stock market and creating a risk-free environment at the stock market, which is never a good thing for silver, because a lot of the money that would usually flow into precious metals flows into the stock market that is basically artificially kept alive and kept high in order to keep the economy strong. So we have that going. We also have the US Treasury yields going up, which is usually a bad thing for gold and becomes a bad thing for silver, because silver very often follows gold. And we also are still in the middle of the pandemic. I know, especially in the US, it is getting better, but the world economy is still very heavily affected, and we're still not seeing the industrial silver demand that we would usually have. But I think that there is actually a window in the next 6 months where the demand is going to pick up, because the world economy is going back to normal. We're going to have more trade again, more consumer, more consumption actually, and also stimulus checks and infrastructure programs everywhere around the world, which will definitely yield to higher industrial demand. So I think towards the end of the year, or maybe in autumn or something, we could actually see quite a jump in the higher, but I do not believe at all in anything like 50 US or 100 US silver. I believe in silver as a long-term commodity. I am not at all aiming for silver shooting to the moon very short term, and I actually am happy when the price stays low, because I see this more as a 10 to 15 year investment rather than something short term. So I'm usually also not so reluctant to buy silver if the price is higher. Obviously, I try to buy the dips, but I'm trying to be consistent. I usually have a weekly budget, and that determines how much silver I buy. And this week I had to buy a bit more because the choices were just so good. So let's talk about those coins here for a little bit. As you guys see, we have a bunch of Canadian silver dollars, 80% silver. We have 3 of those 1939 Parliament dollars. They're pretty common. They're one of the older ones, but very common coins. Nothing so special, but I love the design. And they're still less common than the 64s, 63s, and so on. We have 2 of the Newfoundland 1949 commemorative dollar, which is absolutely beautiful. I love that card. I love that design. It's maybe my second most favorite design of those Canadian $1 coins. I love the British Columbia one because it has the totem on it, but this one is super, super beautiful, but also has a pretty high mintage, nothing very, very special. We have two 1951 George VI Canadian 80%ers. They're a little bit rarer than those, but nothing special either. We have a couple of 1953 Queen Elizabeth II, very common year. And then we have the best dollar of the day, which is this 1955 Queen Elizabeth. It's only 260,000 minted of those. The 1954, 55, 56 all have a very, very low mintage, and this is something you always should pick up if you can choose which dollars to pick. Definitely prioritize on those because there is actually not so many of them, and I don't see them often despite seeing quite a lot of dollar coins. So this is an awesome find. I'm super thrilled. We have a couple of Canadian half dollars. We have this 1917 sterling half dollar, common year, pretty decent reverse, but it's not in specifically awesome shape. But again, I love picking up the older Canadian coins if I can get them for spot, because I think they always command a little bit of a premium. And we also have one of the best finds of the day. This one is a 1939 semi-key date Canadian 50-cent piece. Absolutely awesome. You don't see those often in junk silver bins, so I'm very, very happy finding this one. We have a total of 4 Canadian quarters, a 1917, 1920, 1919, and we have one dateless one. I might still be able to get the date out of this. I didn't put it under the microscope, but it looks super, super slick. These Canadian older quarters and dimes, they tend to wear the worst where the date is placed, so you very often have undateable ones of those, which is a bit unfortunate. But I don't really think I can get a date out of this one. The other ones are, again, no key dates here, nothing super, super special. But again, if you can find those for spot, they're definitely better than normal Canadian quarters. We have a bunch of Canadian dimes, most of them being older. Best one of the day for sure is this 1888 Victorian Canadian dime, only 500,000 minted of those, which is really, really low for dimes. It's not a key date 1884 or something like this, but it's still a very, very good coin that you don't see so often, so I'm super happy. Then we have a few King Edward coins here. We have a 1903 in pretty beat up condition. We have a 1905, which is in a bit better condition, but it's also a more common year. And we have a 1907, which is in okay condition, not great. Those coins wear very, very poorly, very, very often, so it is very common that they're not nice. We have this 1911 King George V here, and we also have a 1930. We have 3 Newfoundland dimes, all 1941, that's the year you usually see, but all of them have pretty low mintage, and if I can find them, I take them, because again, you don't see Newfoundland coins for junk so often, so if I can, I will pick it up. And we have 2 of the beautiful Canadian 5-cent pieces. I love those coins, and if I can find them for spot, it's just crazy. I mean, spot for those coins means 60 cents each, so definitely a steal here. And we have a 1902 King Edward even here in a pretty nice condition, but I'm 100% sure both of those coins were cleaned at some point in their life. They just look too shiny, and they would definitely have some tarnish on them if they wouldn't have been cleaned. But I will show them to a friend of mine who is even better in this than me, but I'm 99% sure here that they are not in awesome condition, but just cleaned. Yeah, that's all the Canadian coins here. Let's go further down the row here. We have some US stuff. We have a total of 6 US half dollars. We have 2 simple 64 Kennedys, which I like to pick up just to add weight to the stack. It's an awesome way to do this. We have 2 Franklin half dollars in 1953 and 1958. Very, very common, nothing special there. But again, Canadian, US 90% silver is one of my favorite things to stack. We have this 1943 Walking Liberty with pretty good condition. This one has not as much wear as most of the walkers you see have, so happy with picking this one up. And we also have one single 1901 Barber half, which is the second most common year. Just a Philadelphia mint coin, but again, I love the design on Barbers. I know many people don't, which is very, very hard for me to understand because they are by far my most favorite US coin design. So I'm super, super happy finding Barbers for spot. And then we have a few quarters and dimes here. Actually, only one quarter is a 1943. We have a 1942 Mercury dime, and then we have a 46 and a 61 Roosevelt dime. Nothing too special here. So overall, just nothing really collectible in there. No special dates or anything like this. Just US junk silver for a great price. Now we come to probably the coolest coin on the day. This thing is so heavy. It has a lot of wear. It's 27 grams, so really chunky coin, very similar to the weight of a Morgan dollar. And what it actually is, it's a British crown, King George III from 1818 to 1820. This coin was only produced those 3 years, 1818, 1819, 1820. And unfortunately, the date is worn off here. I tried to check it under the microscope. The date would usually be here under the king's head, but I can't see anything. The coin is legit. I did all the tests you can do. The weight is right, diameter is right, sound is right, all of this. But it is actually in absolutely beat up shape. But still getting it for spot is very, very nice. It's a 27 gram sterling coin. And even in this condition, I would think it is more like a 50 Canadian dollar coin than a $25 coin what I paid for it. And I love picking up the old coins. I mean, this is a 200-year-old coin and has been in somebody's hands 200 years ago in Britain. And it's amazing to think that. So whenever I get stuff that's pre-1850, that actually makes me really happy because it's not so often the case. So one of the best coins today for me. We have a couple of Tokyo Olympics 1964 1000 yen coins. Very, very common 20 gram hefty sterling silver coin, but I love the Asian coin design, so happy to pick those up. We have an 80% South African 2 shilling coin, 1945. Again, just a not so common coin to pick up, but also nothing special at all. Again, I love having some variety, so I pick up things like this, even though they are not super special coins. We have a bunch of British coins here. All of these are British. We have a 50% 1 florin 1924 here, 3 years after they changed to 50%. And the British coins don't age well. You very often have those kind of green discolorations on those coins, and they often look very, very dirty. This one here is a 1941 1 shilling. Very, very common. Those British coins are basically always scrap silver coins. They are super, super common, and there's just not so much to find there. We have another 1 shilling here. This one is a sterling shilling, 1915. The design is pretty nice with the lion on there. I like it quite a lot. And then we have a sixpence from 1943, 50%, super common. And we have a bunch of sterling sixpences here, and actually 3 Victorian ones. We have a 1899 Victorian sixpence. We have a 1889 Victorian sixpence, and we also have an 1895 Victorian sixpence that's actually in pretty decent condition. All of these are sterling silver. Again, nothing super special. They have a little bit of numismatic value, especially if they're in as nice condition as this one here is. So if you find stuff like this for junk silver price, it is awesome. You should pick it up. And then we have a couple of sterling sixpence here, 1920, and this one is dateless. And we have 2 sterling 3pence. We have a King Edward 1902, I think it is. Yes, and we have a King George 1919, both of them being sterling. As you guys know, in the UK they switched from sterling to 500 in 1921. And I love picking up the sterling ones because I love to add high percentage silver coins to my stack rather than low percentage coins. So overall, always a nice pickup. And then we have some world coins down here, like a little bit cool mix of things that I actually don't find very often. This one here is a 50 mils British Palestine coin from 1935. I never found one like this before for junk silver price. I've seen them before and I love them. They're 72% silver. A beautiful piece of history. We have also a 20 centavos coin from Chile from 1920. Those ones are 40% silver. Also something exotic, what you don't find so often. I always like picking up that stuff. This one has a beautiful eagle on it. We have 2 Australian sixpence, and if you guys watch my videos, you know I love Australian coins, one of my favorite coins to collect. And this one is a 1928 sterling silver sixpence. That's one of the reasons why I love Australian coins, because they kept doing sterling silver coins until the 40s, which is, together with Newfoundland, one of the only countries that did that. And this one here is a 1910 sixpence. which is actually a pretty rare coin. The condition is pretty decent, and I will see if I could squeeze some numismatic value out of there. We will see. Last but not least, we have those 5 coins here, and this is probably my second favorite coin of the day after that British crown. This one is very hard to focus, those small coins, but this one is a British India 2 Anna 1841 Victorian, and it's in amazing condition, like really amazing condition. And it also does not look cleaned. It has some tarnish on it, so it got actually either it got cleaned very ineffectively, or it got cleaned a long time ago and then tarnished again on top of the cleaning, but I'm not sure. I have to check it out under the microscope. If this one is not cleaned, this one is roughly a $40 coin. So it's a super nice deal, because I paid like $1 for it because it's all spot. So amazing. And it's a Victorian, early Victorian 1841 Indian coin. So you don't really find those kind of things very often. And then next to it, we have those beautiful, the tiniest silver coins ever. Those are Dutch 5-cent pieces. And again, this is going to be almost impossible to focus, but they're from the 1850s and 1860s. We have an 1850, 2 1863, and an 1869. And those things are so cute. I mean, if you put them next to a Canadian 5-cent piece, they're kind of half that size. And the 5-cent pieces are absolutely tiny. Those Dutch things, they are just not even like as big as the tip of my pinky. They are absolutely the tiniest coins, and they are also highly collectible. So getting this kind of stuff for spot is always awesome. The small coins is usually where you find the biggest numismatic value, because the spot price is just a joke for those things, right? Spot for those is something around 50 cents. So there's not so much silver value in there, and I love picking up stuff like this for spot. Alright, this was a pretty long video, guys, today. I think that is it for now. Let me know what your favorite coins were today. For me, it's definitely the British crown, the little Dutch 5-cent pieces, and I love the 2 Annas from 1841. And I also love the $55 because I don't find them so often. If you guys have not subscribed yet, it would be wonderful if you guys could do so. It would help me out a lot. And also hit the like button if you guys liked the video. And I will be back next week with another junk silver video, and hopefully back before that with a nice coin roll hunting video in case I find something awesome. Have a good one, guys.